Opening statement and closing statements, 1 minute for responses. And I'd like to thank Ms. Vanderventer.
I know.
Did I do it?
Vanderventer.
And Mr. Bednar for being here today. And they are candidates for the recorder for Lake County. And Ms. Vanderventer, I can't play Monopoly with your names. Guess the opening statement.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me? Perfect. Okay, because we're not getting any feedback, so it's hard to tell. Thank you, everybody. I'm delighted to be here today, and I want to thank everybody for hosting this event. I've served as your Lake County recorder for 16 years, and I'm incredibly proud of all that my staff and I have done. I'm running today on my record of accomplishments and my passion for the job and my passion for the people that we serve. As the keeper in Lake County of history, we continue to utilize available technology, transforming the office into a modern, responsive, and friendly operation, while still keeping the old-fashioned traditions of the office alive. Every single phone call is answered by a real-life human being. There's no buttons or menus to push. Over the last 5 years, we have reduced our budget by over 25%, while increasing accessibility and offering the best business practices for our customers. I would ask that you remember 2 things today. Number 1, no taxes are used in the operation of the recorder's office. No taxes. We receive our revenue from user fees, and that money goes back into the general fund, and that's distributed for county services. And there is not a single duty or task that is performed in the recorder's office that is duplicated by any other unit of government. We are the only game in town. There is not one other duty that anyone else performs. So thank you very much, and I look forward to your questions. Thanks.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum today. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Bob Bednar. I'm the Republican candidate for Recorder of Deeds. I got involved in this race a little over 2 years ago when I saw counties around Illinois begin to do consolidations where they looked at their Recorder of Deeds race and they decided, why are we electing somebody to this position? Why can't we take the duties and functions of this office and merge it into our county clerk's office? Both offices have a lot of similarities. They both have a treasury function. They both take in user fees. They both have staff that record documents. They both have staff that serve the public at a counter. They both have staff that do similar things from a payroll perspective. They're clerks. They sit at computer screens and they move paper around for the county. Administrative offices are great opportunities for consolidation. My business experience, I've spent 10 years as a bank controller right out of college. I spent 1989 to 2008 in the mortgage industry. That's 20 years. I dealt with deeds, I dealt with mortgages, I dealt with recording documents. I helped homeowners look up deeds they hadn't found. I never went to the recorder's office to get what I needed. I called the title person that I knew. And the title people, the attorneys, the mortgage companies, those are the users of the recorder's office. It happens when property is being transferred or refinanced. I've got the experience to do this job, but I think when you look at an election, especially one where it's 4 years and it's an administrative function, you have to ask yourself this: what's the goal? My goal is to do it better, to do it more efficiently on the expense side. The revenues come in set by state statute, but it's the expense side where we can save money. I hope you'll consider Bob Bednar as your next recorder.
Thank you. Mr. Bednar, you get the first question. And it is, do you think the recorder should be an elected or appointed office?
This sounds like a familiar question. I had this Wednesday at the last week forum, and my answer remains the same. Neither. There are offices that should be elected. I think it's important for us to elect a sheriff, to elect a state's attorney, clerk of the circuit court. The recorder, though, is this thin little layer of administration that most of us never see. It's invisible. You move into a county, nobody goes to the recorder's office to record the deal. I shouldn't say no one, but most of the time, we're using an attorney, we're using the mortgage company, the title company's involved, and that's how the process really happens. You know, those are the people that need to get service out of the recorder's office. This is the age of electronics. Computers are doing the work. I believe that we should have a discussion. We should get to the point where county board members sit down, initiate a study, and we look at it and say, does it save us any money? Can we take the recorder's salary and eliminate it?
I don't think my opponent has a clue what we do in the recorder's office. And I know for a fact that he's never stepped foot into the recorder's office. It is a critical function in Lake County government. And we'll get into why it should not be merged, hopefully, in a question or two. But I honestly, absolutely believe that these positions should be elected. You, as the taxpayer, should have every right to decide every 4 years who it is you're going to hire or not rehire. I would ask that you certainly take a look and rehire me. I've worked very hard for the last 16 years to really open up this office. My opponent says he would get his documents from the title companies. Where in the world do you think the title company gets the documents from? The recorder's office. We are the only game in town. When you record your information, it is funneled out to all the different communities, the title companies, lawyers, banks. So much
Thanks, everybody. Okay, Ms. Vanderventer, you get to answer this first, and it goes to what we just mentioned. The functions of the recorder of deeds has been consolidated with other county offices in the lion's share of Illinois County. Why can't this happen in Lake County?
Yes, it has been recorded. It has been merged in several other counties, and the threshold is if you have a county, to qualify, your county has to have 60,000 residents or more, 60,000. Most of those that have merged throughout Illinois are rural counties and have far less than 60,000. Lake County's population is 700,000. We are the third largest county in the state. And frankly, this is a moot point. There is absolutely no county board effort to merge this office whatsoever. This is a misplaced effort on my opponent's part, and it's an effort that simply won't save any money. It's not going to happen. So it would be nice to hear some new ideas or a vision from my opponent, because all he runs on is merging the office, and it just is not going to happen. We are the highest revenue producer in Lake County. We bring in 7 times the money that the county clerk's office does. So if you have 2 Walgreens in your city, and one is bringing in 7 times the revenue than the other store, 7 times the profit, this is not the office that you're going to touch. You're going to leave it alone. You're going to leave its location alone. You're going to let it collect its profit so that it can be distributed out to the other county offices. That's where the sheriff's department gets money for sheriff vehicles. That's where the health department gets money to vaccinate the children in Lake County. The money that we bring in is divvied out to all the different departments. I think it's supposed to be stopped, isn't it? We were getting confused on the last name. Okay.
The 2 Walgreens stores is a bad example. Business makes decisions because it's profitable, because it saves them money, because it generates greater shareholder wealth. Government doesn't have that advantage. When you need your documents recorded, you don't go to the recorder's office. I have set foot in the recorder's office, but Mary Ellen doesn't know it. It was back in 1997. And I was there looking up a copy of my own deed at the time. But that's okay. But if we go back to the 2 Walgreens examples, just because Walgreens makes a decision, it doesn't mean we should base our decision on the recorder of deeds office because business would go a certain route. There is no other customer for you to serve other than the homeowners and the people recording deeds in Lake County. That's the function here. It's true, we don't use taxpayer funds in this office. The fees generated far exceed what the payroll costs and the other contractual services that run the office cost. The savings is in the payroll. The savings is in having a full staff ready to do certain things and you're not always busy. The savings is where you take counter staff in the recorder's office and counter staff in the county clerk's office and you record them. It's not even an idea we're going to discuss. It's not something that's been studied. You know, when you talk about an election, it should be about a vision. It should be about looking forward for the next 4 years. Mary Ellen's been a good servant for 16 years, but that doesn't mean that all the good ideas have been used up. The office is dramatically different today than it was 16 years ago. Look at what computers do today. They touch everything in our lives.
Thank you. Mr. Bednar, first on this question. What technology changes need to be made?
We see it every day. Technology is just amazing, isn't it? Even something as simple as watching television, you can get it through satellite. You've got a couple of choices as far as getting it through the ground wire. You can go through AT&T, you can go through Comcast. You have a lot of choices. Or you can put the aerial back on the roof and just get the 5 or 6 channels that are available. But not too many people are doing that. And we've seen that happen in just the last couple of decades. Our cars today, most of them have more than one computer in them. Refrigerators, furnaces, they all have circuit boards in them. They're all miniature computers. The statute that dictated that at 60,000 population, counties automatically started electing a recorder of deeds was written into law decades and decades before the advent of computers and technology that we use today. We have the ability to record hundreds of thousands of documents digitally. That's why out in Los Angeles, the largest county in our country, they combined these 2 offices 6 years ago. Mary Ellen says it can't be done in large counties. It can, and it has happened. There's a lady named Sherry Griffith running in Cook County on the same platform that I'm running on. This is not a new idea. It just needs to be looked at.
We have worked really hard to use technology to upgrade the office, and there's a real balance in the recorder's office. All of our information is public information. You can walk in and you may see anything on the 7 million documents that we have. But we've also taken great steps to guard that information, to guard your information. We know it's public, but we still feel as if we have a duty to protect you. One of the things that we have used technology for was we went back and we redacted, or we hid, every one of your social security numbers in the 7 million documents that we have. That was a huge project, but really an important project because it is one of the first things that people use when they begin to steal your identity. The other thing was we worked very closely with our legislators, and we have taken off the public rolls. We have hidden all of the military paperwork. All of the DD-214s from our veterans are now behind the scenes in our office. We're the keeper of the military paperwork. You might not know that. But we have taken that off the rolls because, and we've used technology to do it, because it has everything on there for identity theft. It has your name, your address, your social security number. It has way too much information. So that has been hidden. Since 2007, we have partnered with over 2,000 of our professional clients to extend our office by using through a subscription.
Thank you. Appreciate your patience on this. The question I have in front of me is not an issues question, but I'm going to ask it in case either one of you know the answer for the audience. There was talk of a referendum to eliminate the office on the ballot. Do either one of you know what happened to that?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
You know, the echo's pretty bad. Could you repeat that?
There was talk of a referendum to eliminate the office on the ballot. Do you know what happened to that?
I'm happy to answer, I do know.
But
Just that's not
do you know anything about that?
I do not.
Okay.
I'll just tell you really quickly, it was back in 1990, there was a question on the ballot to have the recorder's office not be an elected position. It was soundly defeated 2-1. Lake County wanted no part of that.
You know, I'll just add to that, now that you said that, Bob Bednar, I believe at the time was our recorder
In Cook County,
in Cook County.
Frank Nestra was our.
Frank Bednar, excuse me. There was a lot of political talk about not wanting to see it eliminated. You know, people listen to their elected officials and they look for guidance.
Okay. Thank you. Just clarify for whoever asked the question. We're going to closing statements, and Mr. Bednar, you get to go first.
Thank you. You have to have vision. If you don't have vision, you're lost. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. You know, if you're a truck driver, if you're an accountant, if you're an attorney, if you're the recorder of deeds. I've been surprised at a lot of things in this election. I've enjoyed meeting so many people while going through this process, and it's really something. You know, you do put yourself out there when you run for a countywide position. There's a lot to it. There's so much to learn. I am not a professional politician. I'm just like you. I get up every morning. I put on my pants one leg at a time. I practice. I go to work. I make sure my daughter gets her education and she gets off to school. She's off to college. Maybe my job's half done. I figured even after college, the way things are now, parents still have a big burden. But then there's also the vision that we have in what we do professionally. And when I served clients in the mortgage industry, I dealt with that. I didn't have to go to the recorder's office to get information. I dealt with where I could get it the easiest, the fastest, the least amount of expense. That's what you expect from your elected officials. That's why I'm running for this. I believe there's a better way out there. I think it's time to have a second set of eyes look at what's in the recorder's office. It's that simple. So Bob Bednar for recorder in Lake County. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here on such a beautiful day. In closing, I would just add that my opponent offered no new ideas, no plan, no vision for the recorder's office. He honestly wants you to believe that after spending thousands of dollars of his own money and a year on the campaign trail, that he's going to walk in and just, let's close her up. It's ridiculous. My goal is to continue to provide top-notch service for the people of Lake County. Since 1996, I have been endorsed in every election by every newspaper, including the Daily Herald, the Chicago Tribune, the New Sun, the Pioneer Press, and the Lake County Journal. And I'm really, really proud of that. I thank you so much for being here. I ask for your support, and I very respectfully ask for your vote on Election Day. Thank you.
Thank you. The rest of the candidates will be time to be with us today, and we'll take a short break.